Forbes India presents M Connect, powered by Marmo Solutions.
Welcome to M Connect, celebrating architectural excellence and innovation. I'm Arun Sharma. In this special series, we're spotlighting architects who are building for the future. The theme for today's discussion is the detail obsession, where we will explore the quiet compulsions, the grooves, the junctions, the materials, and the gestures that speak volumes. Our notable panel comprises Arun Sharma, the principal architect at Atrey Associates. Arun is dedicated to creating masterpieces that blend luxury with sustainability. We also have with us Sachi Gupta, the principal design and co-founder of Synthesis, a New Delhi and London-based architecture firm. Sachi is known for blending creativity and precision to deliver luxurious experiences. And then we have Gurveer, who is the principal architect at Design at Desk. He is a third-generation architect who specializes in the design of luxury villas, opulent residences, large-scale industrial facilities, and modern office spaces. Welcome to the show. My first question is there a detail that actually became the anchor of the entire project? Arun, we'll begin with you.
Yeah, I remember in one of my projects. So initially we started with a concrete wall. It was like an element in the facade. So as the design evolved, so eventually it enters into the it was a part of the main lobby of the house. And then slowly it becomes the future wall of the entire house, and we started with the facade. So that concrete wall, that concrete finish, eventually become the main you can thread of the entire house. And we took in the different areas, in the master bedroom, even in some of the bathrooms. And there I realized how a simple material, because in that entire house we used just two materials, the concrete and wood. And there I realized how the simple material can create that impact, and that with the harmony, so it becomes so beautiful. So then after this project we took this concept in many of other projects as well.
Right, so you kind of replicated that learning into your future projects.
Exactly.
Sachi, what about you?
I love materials, and as every project is a beginning of innovation with a new material. So we remember we were doing this, an amazing F&B joint. And in F&B generally, you're concentrating on the experiences, of course, food. We picked up glass as a material and reciprocated that into the whole ceiling, creating experiences. Like it was an experience that created the whole aura of that F&B, which nobody could relate to. So it was a chandelier from where it began and came into the dining experience. Like, for example, a glass. A glass generally is a glass in a restaurant, right? But a glass converting into a chandelier in a glass. And for example, so glass was something as a new material for an F&B, where people are very apprehensive, because there's a third party dealing with it. And then we blew it out of proportion, made chandeliers, made different installations, and it was like an awe-striking experience for us.
I'm sure it was. So from glass to, is there any other detail that you have come across that actually became the anchor of your entire project?
So as such, I was traveling across in Africa, where they use a lot of wood. I was in Morocco. The patterns which they have given to the world are mind-blowing. So we picked up one of the patterns which was not new to this part of the country, and then we used that pattern. We did a bit of innovation there, and we did it in different materials. Like we replicated that in stone, we did it in marble, then we did some precast concrete also with that pattern, and that came into that house. We haven't used that anywhere else. It's just with that house only, but we would like that maybe we end up with some other pattern and then do that theme according to some other house with some new pattern or something.
So Sachi, like Gurveer was talking about how a material kind of reshaped his design sense. Has there been a material that actually changed your process also and kind of made you reshape the design?
It's always the case. trust me. We start with something, but eventually as the discussions proceed, there's always some uniqueness of a concept, of a material, aligned with the material. So it's a very harmonious blend. Say, for example, we were trying to crack this facade of a building, okay? And, you know, we always want to innovate on obvious things, and it's our philosophy. So it was like, it's not cracking, it's just not coming, it's just not right. We have done this, we have done this. Like, we were all like hacking our brains. There was a Louis Paulson lamp kept in our studio, and it had such a beautiful fluidity, and we were just looking at it, it's like, why can't we just, you know, it's a micro detail, and blow it up in proportion as a facade. So that whole harmonious, you know, fiber material was converted into a facade with the same rhythm, and of course there was an exchange of material, a lot of technicalities, but we did it. So inspirations is everywhere, and you know, the flow of ideas. So Louis Paulson to a facade of a corporate building.
Yeah, that actually sounds tremendous. Is there now a detail that, Gurveer, you've perhaps fought for, be it against budgets or timelines or pressure from the team?
Yes, of course. I remember everybody's flooded nowadays with, we've got a lot of media on Pinterest and Google, and one of my clients told me that I need a door of my house which I haven't seen anywhere across, and you need to design it for me. So I said, then we need, let's say we need a lot of, innovation in that, because that particular designing will be something which will, even I would like to keep it for you only. So while designing it, we had the edges picked up like a curtain drop. So for that, we had to use extensively used wood. So when I gave the costing for the door, he said, you're going to make 3 doors out of 1 door. So I said, that's what it is. Now you asked me to design something, and it'll take its own parameters, but at least we'll be out of the entire books or the photographs which internet has. So finally, at the end, what came out, they really appreciated. So the edges were a little folded, they were a little nipped up on all the sides. So that looks very exclusive. So we call it the Bansal door.
Interesting anecdote. Arun, have you also had to fight for a detail?
Yeah, actually, in one of my projects, we did the inclined niches in the boundary wall, and we, from there, that idea we picked up, and we did in the entire house, even in the details of the glass etching, or you can say on the facade, like the detailing, or what we did with the stone. We did all the details in the inclined lines, and we did it recently in Delhi, in Flagstaff Road, and that comes out great.
Right. I also wanted to ask you that in this world of computer-aided design, do you all still sketch by hand?
Yeah, sketching is a very important tool, or you can say is a skill. So it solves the problem very fast when we are on the site and we have to explain it to our clients or to the contractors. So it's the fastest way to explain them. And sketching, have great thing that the person in front of you understand it in a much faster way as compared to the words. So it's very important, and is the foundation of the design. It starts from the sketching only. The concept, it starts from the sketching. Then only after that, the CAD and all these computer-aided designs all comes after that. So sketching is the base of everything. And sketching, through sketching only, when we draw sketches in front of the client, it make a greater impact rather than showing it on the screen. So, and it's the fastest way to capture the details. It is the it's a connect between your mind and paper. So it's the fastest way to explain even.
Do you agree, Sachi?
I totally agree, because just a very basic example. When we have young kids, toddlers, there's a coordination skill between your brain and your hands. There's certain toys and the tools. I think for all designers, sketching is that tool. Because while you're sketching, your brain is in coordination with your action. And then while you're sketching, you innovate yourself, So I always, I start sketching, further detailing. But while you're sketching, you again innovate on your own sketch. And of course, that then goes to the studio, and then they make it more technical and, further detailing add to it. But I think as for a perception and inception for a design, sketching works very well.
Right. And also, is it perhaps, Gurveer, because that's how you started, right? Like you must have started sketching by hand.
I think so. Sketching is like a temple for an architect. I can only,
Totally.
you can worship your sketch, you can see it for timeless. Matlab, sketch is something which an architect lives with. That's how from where it's that, let's say, it's that small detail or the small piece of art which an architect does, which finally goes and makes these shapes and everything. So sketching is, I think so, for the youth also, I must say, of course there are tools, there are AIs, there everything. They have so many new apps and other softwares, and that's the fastest tool. See, if I click my hand and I have to press a enter, it takes that 1 second. But that it takes lesser for an architect to sketch.
And also, I think,
your hand moves more faster. So
Nothing can replace
it is really important.
and also the journey, while you look at your first sketch to what you have produced,
Yes.
it's such a fulfilling experience. You're like, wow, this is where we started, and that was the seed, you know. So yeah,
And
I
even,
think.
even today, we study the sketches of the
absolutely.
the great architects,
Yeah.
Le Corbusier and other Frank
Anybody,
Lloyd. The
anybody.
sketches, I mean, we study those sketches
And
even
you
today.
still learn. You
so
still
sketches
learn.
is the main.
Yeah.
And
like-
from that one line, which is jumbled across on a paper, suddenly you see a building. So that is very important. It's an integral part of an architect, and it must be taught. I think so. For
Oh, yes.
5 years of an architecture, rather 2-3 years, they should only teach sketching.
I agree.
That's that
The
important.
teachers in
I
first
hope
year
the
actually.
target audience is taking note that
Of
sketching
course,
is
they must,
absolutely
necessary.
Because it's
Integral.
it just coordinates with your mind. It's so important. I mean, look at Zaha. Basically, the sketches are a form of art these days. Or name any icons, you know.
Now, coming back to the theme, which is the detail obsession. But Sachi, has there been an instance where you got into over detailing and you actually regretted it, or you regret it now? That why did I get stuck? Did I over detail?
No, I don't think so. There's ever a word called over detailing. Let me just elaborate it a little bit. When you say over detailing, it could be lack of experience, and to overcome, you're trying to detail it further and trying to increase something. So there's nothing called an over detail. It's all about how much you know about the whole process. You know, at times I see, or even as a studio, we over materialize a space, you know, that creates a chaos, and then you de-chaos it or declutter it. It is not in the harmony. So the details are just a tool to rhythmize the whole process, the transition into a peaceful whole, you know, the space that you create. So I don't say there's an over detailing. Probably there's a lack of knowledge where people might try to correct it by detailing and redetailing, adding more materials. So, no.
So is that also kind of your unconscious signature? Do you have an unconscious signature when it comes to detailing?
It does. It does. And it's all about, again, if you ask me to put in words, it's not a specific word I would be able to see. But yes, I always walk through a space, depending on the zone and the location of globally where we are. And if anything doesn't obstruct me, it's beautifully detailed. You know, it's smooth. My eye transition is smooth. Then it's beautifully detailed. But if anything pops out or it's a lot of contrast, there is a little miss. So yeah, that's how I look into it.
Right. Gurveer, what about you? What is the detail you think defines you? What is your unconscious signature?
So primarily doing a lot of houses and all that over the years. When about 10-12 years back, we were designing a house and there was a constant fight between a modern and a classical style house, and I finally asked my client that let's stick to the classical. It's like a white shirt, it'll never fade off. So we did a particular detail on the sloping roof, which is a curved sloping roof. So I had to go across books and study what are the parameters, how the slope has to be there. And finally that detail today is quite acknowledged everywhere. Even if I don't do that house, and if that house carries that slope, probably people ask me, is it done by you? So I say, no, I haven't done it, but it's not been copied now. So what people have been doing is they have been taking the same contractors who has my drawings and they repeat the detail. But I'm enjoying the fact that somebody...
You're enjoying the fame also.
So I'm enjoying the fact that somebody is copying it. So that makes me more happy. It's like...
You're a star in your own right.
It's a
right? So
validation.
people are
Basically, it's a validation for
It's
you,
a
which is a good
validation.
thing.
I always compare it. See, we are, as an architect, we are also artists. With a particular artist, a particular style, if it gets locked, like what Shah Rukh Khan does, probably Sunny Deol never does it, right? So that style is
unique to them.
Yes, so that's important. So any detail, like Zaha ma'am, she had a uncanny detail of doing a fluidic architecture. So that's the Zaha style, right? So similarly, I did that and people acknowledged it. And today when I use that detail, they force you also to repeat it, which stops us innovating actually. That's also a tough thing now as an architect. So you've been delivering that detail and now you don't want to do it. But
so you've also been put in a box in that sense.
So now, but people want you to do it.
Exactly.
So that also is a very tough way. We tell them, we have done it for now, so it's a long time. Let's get into something else. But sometimes they just force us that, no, we love this, we love how it comes. So we enjoy it also.
Right. Arun, do you also have something that you associate with, like a detail that is truly yours?
I'm associated with, like, my designer more talk about the concrete and the free flow of the concrete. So we do lots of shapes and even the blocks and everything is in fluid shape. So I'm known for that. And also we do lots of detailing for bringing nature into the spaces. So we do lots of detail to have how come we can have the ample of natural light and we can have more of the connection between the inside outside. So that type of detailing, we try to do in each and every project, and that is our signature.
Right. Is there also a detail that you design only for yourself, even if no one else notices you've done it?
Yes, there's a beautiful instance because in one of my residential project, I designed a niche where at particular time of the day, the sun falls on that particular niche. So that I did for myself only. Even the client didn't notice about that, but I know that is a kind of thing which doesn't need any perfection, but that can only be felt.
Totally feel you on that.
So that is I did for myself only.
It was for your joyous moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I agree.
That is for the joy and
Doesn't need
gives you a
validations.
kind of a joy, because that has been etched there forever.
Wow.
So that is
Beautiful.
Very different way to design.
Right. So
I appreciate this question actually.
So coming from the point of validation, Sachi, has there ever been a time where someone has made you notice something about your work that even you hadn't taken cognizance of?
Most of the time.
Tell me one quick instance.
It's kind of hard to remember one, but it's not actually validation, but it's like, when you're so engrossed in your work, you would just like focusing. Again, I'll just take off the architecture or design. There's a surgeon and there's a mother. Okay, both have connection with a baby, right? So surgeon produces a baby and produce next, but mother nurtures and things like that. So in our profession, at times it's a very fine line when we get attached to a project, or because there's so much heart and soul that goes into it, but there's most of the time you're like a surgeon. You're making amazing projects and moving on, And then you don't validate yourself because, okay, this has been done, you've done to your best, you can answer to yourself. For us, answering yourself is the biggest validation. And then when people come and says, like, wow, this I never thought about. Like, for example, again, it's from one of the F&B. I don't know why F&B is coming to my mind today, because I'm back in India today and I'm like, food is on my mind. So, there was this amazing, Nimbu Mirchi that we did. Nimbu Mirchi as an evil eye has been always there in India, For this specific project, we blew it out of proportion, and we asked the designer friends of ours who were collaborating with us to produce those glasses for us. And we blew it out of proportion in the scale of like 2 feet, 2.5 feet, 3 feet. And it became so hit. Like, people started asking us that, wow, can we have this for a home? Where is for a commercial area, So it transforms with the space, but it's all about the scale, it's all about the precision, it's all about the thought process and understanding the client. And when we made the manufacturers and the people do it, they were like, wow, we have been doing this process for the longest time, but we never thought about it.
In the way that you did.
Yeah, because it's playing around with scale, you know,
Right.
with the smallest of the things.
Right.
So,
Lastly, Gurveer, I want to ask you that what is the one piece of detailing that you're most proud of?
The architects are proud of their work.
I know.
I'm sure something stands out. Let me give you a moment to think. Arun, you have something?
Our office building, we tilted it like this. So, you know, that detailing, that kind of, because from outside it seems like it's as if it's like tilted at a great angle, but from inside it's all straight, flat. So that kind of structure, that kind of detailing, and too much like, you know, science was, like technology was required for that.
That sounds hi-fi.
Yeah, it's in Delhi only. So, you know, that really I'm really proud of, and that's again an inspiration for the young architects as well.
Absolutely. Sachi, one quick detail that you can share that you're proud of.
It's a very small detail, maybe an invincible detail kind. So, you know, we've been using a lot of these elements called mirror TVs. I'm talking about very minor, smaller things, you know. Bigger scale, of course, you know, you have. Like my favorite, if you ask, is a detail where I want to hide the architraves. I want to hide all the chocolates, that how you call it this country. And, you know, having fun around with metal and seamless, you know, all those kind of things. But I've been doing that for a long time. So this, in one of our projects, there was this mirror TV. And I've been using mirror TV for quite some time. It's elegant. It hides the technicality of the TV, the wires, the black box, you know, all of those. But we always, whenever it's switched off, you always see a very fine line. It's always there. And my eyes were always like hitting me hard. So there was a whole process to it, and it's a small details of shifting a paint to a felt for that little thing. And the best part, I didn't mention this to the client. We did it, and you know, this client is very specific. It's one of his 10th home that we did. He noticed it. He's like, I can't see this line, but in my previous home. And that was like, ouch, good.
Yeah, bravo.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. Now, Gurveer.
So I'm lucky enough to work with a 24-karat gold tile in one of the washrooms.
Wow.
When I didn't have that much of, when I wasn't into that much of architecture, I didn't know the consequences of what is going to happen. So one of my clients wanted the purest colors in his washroom, and we designed everything white and gold. So the gold came from the Bisaza 24-karat gold tiles, and then we ordered taps. We did some detailing of fine gold in the wardrobes also. So which wasn't shared by everybody, because then it would have been a little tough for the labor and others. But we did all 24-karat in the wardrobe and toilets, and that was one of the details. I couldn't do it again. Nobody accepts that.
That's royalty personified.
So even we got the taps, which had 18-karat gold. So everything was white and gold. So that was one of the details which I would love to do again. And I still have the photographs, and I normally ask the client every 10 years that please share. They say, we don't break it any day, because they are keeping it intact and they're keeping it, preserving it rather.
On that high note, thank you all so much for that deep and detailed discourse. This has helped unpack the idea that the smallest choices often leave the deepest imprint. In a world rushing towards automation and scale, we're reminded that architecture is not just about aesthetics and craft. It's also about intention, it's also about care, it's about obsession and control. More human than machine. Stay tuned to M-Connect, celebrating architectural excellence and innovation. I'm Ambika Sharma. Thank you so much for watching.
Forbes India presents M-Connect, powered by Marmo Solutions.